Good morning, everyone. Today we're going to start our discussion on navigating through R and R Studio. So I take it that you have already installed R and R Studio in your computers. Now, if you uh, we said last time that you have to install R first and then R Studio. R is the software itself. R Studio is an IDE, integrated development environment, and we use it to enhance our navigating experience in R. Okay, so if you open R Studio now, if you looked at the notes of module 0, notes about R and R Studio, I I have some notes there about the importance of opening an R project. Okay, an R project is supposed to contain, it's supposed to be a container, a it's like a document management system where all your files, in particular on a project that you're working in R, is stored. It has many advantages to it. So every time we have a new lesson, we're going to create a new project for that lesson. So our lesson for today is Introduction to Financial Analytics. And so I'd like us to start with the creation of an R project for that. Now, you choose a location in your computer where you're going to save that. Save, for example, you can create a folder. So why don't you do that? Create a folder, whether it's in your desktop or in your documents. The choice is yours. Create a folder where you're going to store your R files in this subject. So in my case, I created a folder called Finlits and then master. Okay, Finlits master. I created that in my desktop. So I'm going to use that as my let's say directory for saving my R projects. So let's start now by how do you create an R project? So we're going to create an R project called Introduction to Financial Analytics. Okay, so you name it any way you want, but what I did was to create that project called Intro to Financial Analytics. So how do we do that? So you have your R Studio open, okay, and then go to File, and then click here, New Project. File, New Project. And once in a while, I'm going to stop and ask you if you're able to follow along because I know that most of you are using R for the first time. Okay, so File and then New Project. So click this, and then okay, first it will ask me to save this one. Okay, so let me save this so that I can close this first. Save. Okay. All right. So now I'm being asked, okay, are you going to create a project in a new directory, or are you going to create it in an existing directory? Okay, so in your case, if you have already created that folder where you're going to store your files, then create it from an existing directory. But let's just start with, suppose you did not create that. So let's do this, new directory, and then under that is new project, and then directory name. All right, so you can name it the subject Finlits. Okay, it's up to you, but for purposes of easier access, you can name it financial analytics or whatever. Okay, so let me run. Okay, because I have used that name, I'll just make a different name. I'll call it trial, and then where do I want to put it? Okay, I have to find. Okay, I have to find now where I want to put it. So browse. Okay, and in my desktop. Okay, you can create here a folder. For example, I'm going to create a new one, call it financial, call it uh, one, financial analytics. I'll just call it trial. so that I know this is not a not a permanent folder. All right, so this is the folder and I'll just click it there. Okay. And I'm instructing now R to create a project inside this folder. So, okay, it's highlighted now, and then I'll click open. All right, so it now tells me that the directory, okay, is in my in the location that I chose, okay, and then I can now, before I create a project, the directory name is trial. In my case, okay, in your case, it can be introduction to financial analytics, and then open a new session, and then create project. Okay, so let's see what happens. Okay, so now it opened a new R Studio file. Okay, this is an R script. You have the window panes here. Okay, so this is your environment window. Okay, I click this. So this is our script window, environment window. This is our console, and this is our files, plots, and packages window. All right, may I ask you, class, who among you have the same window pane location as mine? Kindly chat yes, please. If you have the same, wait, file, if you have the same window pane position as mine, yes or no, please. Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Okay. All right. Now, most probably also the interface, the color of your RStudio is not the same as mine. So if you want this color, I prefer this because it's cooler to the eyes. Okay. And there's also another reason why I put the console here. Okay, I put the console here. And my environment window is here below. Okay, so how do I reposition this? How do I change the position of my window panes? You can go to tools here. Take a look at the tab here. Tools tab, tools. Okay, and then below you have global options. Tools, global options. Click this. Okay, and then here you have this dialog box with so many options here. You have general. Okay, in your case, you should be having R 4.4.0, right? Kindly chat, please, what version of R you have now, please. Kindly write in the chat box the version of R that you have now. Okay, good. That's the latest, 4.4.0. I haven't updated mine. Okay, I keep forgetting this. I have to already update this. Okay, so that's the R general. Then here, first let's go to the pane layout. So currently, my pane layout is arranged this way. My source or script window is on the upper left. On the upper right is my console. Now, if you want to reposition anything here, for example, in your case, what appears is this one. So you have your environment window here, your console here. Now, I want that my console will be on the upper right. So you can just click this one, click, and then console there. And then it will exchange with the environment window because the environment window was here in the first place. Okay, and then when I click console, then it will exchange places. Okay, kindly chat please if you are able to follow and reposition your console. I'll explain in a while as we go along why for me I prefer that way. Okay, good. Now, the reason why I prefer the console to be on the upper right is that whenever we run codes here, okay, it depends on what we're using. If we're using R Markdown, okay, or in this case, it's an R script, then, for example, I type here 3 times 100 divided by 35 times exponential of 14. Okay, so that's a mathematical expression. Okay, if I control enter, okay, sorry, I have to make exp, okay, exponential, small letters lang. Kasi very sensitive yan, exp. Si R very sensitive sa capitalization. All right, so this is the answer, 10308037. And if the console was here below, sometimes you get long lines of code already, then the answers are here. So it can be quite difficult to try to see the result below. Unlike if it's on a side by side, it will be easier to uh, follow the result of your code. Okay, so that's one of the reasons why I prefer the console to be on the upper right. Of course, you can, this is just my personal preference, and you can position it any way you want. You can put it here, okay, but I see no logic why it should be here, okay, but it really depends on the user. Okay, next is the appearance. The appearance class is also a personal choice. If you go to tools, global options, here, on the ear here, you have appearance, okay, appearance, and the default is the Chrome. Right? Click this one. So, okay, this is now the default. Although it may be quite uh, mild on the eyes, I feel that it lacks a bit of contrast. So that's why I don't like to use this. Okay. I prefer, let me go back to tools, global options, appearance, and what I used a while ago was a cobalt there. I prefer the cobalt. Of course, you can experiment and try to see ambience. For me, that's too dark. Chaos also. Okay, so there are some options here. Okay, personally, I prefer cobalt, so that's what I'm going to use. Now, it depends on you what you want because we have different eye conditions. So for me, this is just a balance between the contrast in colors. Okay. All right. So let me pause for a while. May I request your feedback? If so far, okay tayo. So far, how about the speed? Am I going too fast? Or is my speed okay? Okay, thank you. About the others, waiting for the others' response. Okay, good. All right. In case you have any questions, please do not hesitate to uh, interrupt me. Okay. Do not pretend that you're able to follow along when in fact there's a question. There's a particular part in our discussion that you were not able to get. So please raise your hands or unmute yourself and request and ask me for whatever clarification you have. Okay. All right. Good. Thank you so much. We're not going to treat any question here as something that's let's say a foolish question. All questions here are respected, so you can be at ease. Okay, do not be afraid that your classmates will all ostracize you or I'm going to ostracize you. Okay, so my question dito, and also when you ask a question, may I request for you to address it to everyone so the others will also know what you're asking. Okay, Ion, kindly share your question to everyone. No? Wag lang sa akin. Okay, sabi ni Ion, when I enter number 1, hindi lumalabas yung result sa console. Okay, In instances like this, I will request you to please, share your screen para makita natin. And it is an opportunity to learn for everyone. I like questions like this, no? Para natututunan din ng iba. They're very good, Ian. Thank you so much. So Ian, could you kindly share your screen? I'll stop share first so that it's clear to the others, your question. Okay. So that one, okay. So the question of Ian is the answer does not load in console. Now, why? Anyone would like to answer that? Anyone would like to answer that? Yes. Okay, from Joshua, ang sabi ni Joshua, we have to press run. Okay. Tapos si ano naman, we have to click run. Okay, sige. Yeah, could you click run? There, lumabas, no? Okay, that's correct. Also, pwede rin balik ka dun sa line 1, Iyon. Balik ka sa line 1, control enter. Control enter mo, there. Okay? So either you type control enter or there's a run button up there. Okay? Thank you so much, Vince, and thank you so much, Josh. Ito yung gusto ko, no? That we learn as a class, we journey together. So I really appreciate questions like this, and I really appreciate you sharing your knowledge or your understanding. Yeah. Thank you, Vince. Thank you, Josh, and thank you, Ian. I appreciate that. Okay, good. Good. So let me continue sharing. Share ulit ako. Okay. Now, let me go back to our discussion on the project. You notice that if I look here at files, meron ditong file na trial R project, di ba? This is the R project that we created. And where is this? It's inside this folder. The folder that I created a while ago, yung One Financial Analytics Trial. Inside that folder, which is in my desktop, you can see here. So we might have different locations. Inside my desktop is a folder called One Financial Analytics Trial, and inside it is an R project. Okay, this one. Okay. Now, if I go to my desktop, because it's there, asan yung desktop ko? Ayan, desktop ko. Tapos andito yung create ko kanina, number 1. Asan na si number 1 Financial Analytics? Where's that? Ito, yan. One Financial Analytics. And inside that is ito, yung project ko. Yung laman ng project na yan, trial, no? Ang laman niyan sa loob is this one, yung R project. Okay? Now, this controls everything. Parang siya yung nagmamanage ng lahat. No? So, for example, di ba, ito yung R natin kanina. I'll put it here. Ito yung sample natin na R, no? I'll close this. Okay, this one. Okay, if I save this, so save ko file, save or save as, no? Save as. Okay, isa-save ko siya sa, it will automatically save it dun sa R project natin, sa folder ng trial. Okay, so let me just use 100. Anyway, file name lang naman yan. Save. All right, take note. Nung sinave ko siya, andi dito yun, no? Kita nyo, class? I'm here in my R project called trial, and I saved this document, ito, which I named 100.r. Notice it's a .r object, which means it's an R script. Kasi ito, R script to. Okay? If I open another file here, for example, this one, okay, and I open an R Markdown file, okay? So an R Markdown file, which is what we're going to use, is a lot better than an R script, no? So, okay. Anyway, I'll just name it trial 1000. Panay trial lang to kasi ibuburahin ko to, class, no? Okay. So you can create an R Markdown, which is document-based, presentation pwede. Pwedeng sa web, Shiny is a package that's used in web development. And then from template, kung meron kang mga templates na nakasave dito. And then the default, okay, HTML, PDF, or Word. The default is an HTML. For now, let's just use an HTML. Now, take note, yung date dito, May 7, 2024. If I want, okay, sige, i-ano natin na, i-okay ko to. Okay. It will now open a new R Markdown, an unnamed, unsaved na R Markdown file. And you can see here the difference between an R script, ito, and an R Markdown file. An R Markdown file has code chunks. Okay. So just to inform everyone, I hope that you really watch the video on R and R Markdown kasi I would like to save on time para makafocus talaga tayo dun sa lesson natin. Anyway, dinidiscuss ko na ito, it's already discussed there. So please, and mas maganda pa dun kasi you'll be able to listen at your own pace. Kung gusto mong i-pause muna tapos pakinggan mo ulit, then you can do that, no? Okay, so anyway, I opened an R Markdown. Okay, and the difference between an R Markdown and an R script is that may mga code chunks sa dito. No? Sa R script natin, ito, yung .r natin na yan, wala mga code chunks. Okay, so you write the code there, Control Enter, lalabas sa console yung answer. Okay, the answer will not appear in the R script. It's just used for typing your code. Okay, on the other hand, si R Markdown, which is this, sabi natin, ang tawag dito code chunk. Okay? Code chunk. Okay. And how is a code chunk written? Meron siyang tatlong backticks, and then it ends with a backtick also. And then you have here open curly bracket, okay? Open parenthesis, curly brackets, no? And then R. Okay? Bakit R? This is to denote that this is an R code. Kung Python siya, ilalagay natin Python. Kasi si RStudio or si POSIT, ginagamit na rin siya as an IDE for Python. Okay, and then you have here cars, no, may pangalan na cars. Sa ilalim, you have another code chunk. Again, I know that this is code chunk kasi grayed out siya, tapos may yung backticks and closed by backticks, and then brackets, and then R. And the name of this code chunk is pressure. You notice, linalagyan ng names yung code chunk. And I'll tell you why in a few minutes. No? And then here we have echo is equal to false. Let's see what will happen to this echo is equal to false. All right? Sabi dito, note that echo is equal to false parameter was added to the code chunk to prevent the printing of the R code that generated the plot. So you see here, if I run this, so how do I run this? Control Enter or just click this, ito, run current chunk, or also, pwedeng ito, yung run na to, no? Okay, so three ways, dito, Control Enter, or this one, run this, or this one, run. Okay, you can experiment on how you may just, and you need not, you can just be anywhere in the code chunk. Kahit dito sa simula, sa after P, kahit sa simula ng P, it doesn't matter. Ira-run yan. So if I run this, okay, run, okay, then it generated the output of this code. Plot is a code, no? Plot is a function in R. So pinapaplot niya yung pressure. Saan nagaling pressure? Yung pressure is a data set, no? That comes pre-packaged with R. So ibig sabihin, ando dun siya sa R, so you can easily access that. May iba mga data sets na kasama na with R which we can use. So yung plot na yan, okay, it was used kasi si pressure, it's a data, it's a file containing two variables. Yung pressure at saka yung temperature. So dito, yung y-axis yung pressure, yung x-axis yung temperature. So nakapag-generate siya ng output dito. Okay? Pero may sinasabi siyang echo is equal to false, which we're going to learn in a few minutes. Alright. So, ano yung gamit ng Ano yung gamit ng pangalan? Ito setup. If you have so many code chunks already, ang dami mo ng codes, 1,000. Okay, and you want to go to a particular code chunk, ang hirap hanapin nun, no? Kung mag-scroll ka pa, kung 1,000, more than 1,000 yan lines of code, that can be very, very difficult to find. So one way to find that is here. Okay, ito naka-index yung ano. Take a look at this, yung green na to, yung chunk. And if I click this, yung chunk na yan, di ba? Andi dito yung mga ano, andito yung outline actually, no? Okay, andi dito yung title ng document, Trial 1000. Andito yung chunk 1. And under that, you have this heading, no? R markdown. Chunk 2, yung mga, may pangalan yung chunk 1, di ba? Setup. Chunk 2 is cars. Chunk 3 is pressure. So far, ito yung outline natin. And saan ang galing tong trial 1000 na yan? Yun yung name ng document natin. Ito. Yan. Title trial 1000. And then, ano yung header? Ito. Yung hashtag sa R. Okay. Tignan nyo ha. I'll make it 1. Sorry. Control Z. Nabura lahat. I'll just put a 1 here. Okay. And then, let me R markdown. Ay, meron na pala. R intro. Okay, you notice what happened here? Ito one hashtag, first hashtag. Ibig sabihin yan yung main ano, main topic yan. Yung 2 should be under our intro. And then if you introduce tatlong hashtags, then it should be under number 2. So for example, R markdown, maglalagay ako dito ng markdown na lang. Sample lang naman to no? Notice, yung markdown niyan, naging under our markdown, which is yung 2. Okay? So anywhere you put those hashtags, it indicates outlines. No? At ito gagamitin ko kunyaring 1. Yan. So, look. Yung isa 1, di ba, sa our intro. Itong code chunk, another 1 yan. So magkahanay sila. Okay? Yan. One hashtag, another 1 hashtag. If I make here, including plots, another 1. So tatlo silang nasa first layer, no? Okay, and the others are second layer. Okay, let me pause for a while. Again, some questions. Is our discussion so far clear? Let me just again once again. Okay. Okay, clear ba tayo so far? Okay, good. Okay, I'm happy that so far, especially with the use of the notes. So sana basahin nyo. Okay, and nobody's preventing you, class, from researching more on how to navigate through R and R Markdown. Okay, so maganda kung on your own hanap din kayo ibang materials. Try nyo mag-experiment kayo, no? Okay, para in class we will be focusing already more on the proper lesson. Okay, so thank you so much for your feedback. Now, dito, yung first natin dito, by the way, class, ito, no? Makikita natin dito, ang tawag dyan, they call it YAML, no? Let me put here, YAML. Dagdag na naman siya dito sa outline, di ba? Yan. Number 1, yan ang pinaka-main header, no? So, if you have several number 1s, ibig sabihin, several 1 hashtags, ibig sabihin, marami kang, kumbaga sa, ano, sa research, sa paper, Roman numeral number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yung mga main yan. Then this can be your A, okay, etc. All right, so this means yet another markup language, yet another markup language. Okay, YAML, no? And it controls the text. Okay, the text. Now, in the course of this subject, I'm going to show you some examples of cases or outputs of other students na napakaganda talaga ng output kasi talaga minaximize nito. So, nobody's preventing you, class, from researching on how to improve yung YAML ito, no? Kasi pwede niyong baguhin yan. Pwede kang maglagay ng table of contents, for example, sa paper niyo. Since you're going to make use of R for your output in this subject, dapat learn how to navigate through the YAML. Kasi ito yung magko-control ng formatting ng body nyo. Okay? As I said a while ago, you can put here table of contents. Maglalagay siya ng table of contents. Or bibliography. Pwede. That's how powerful R is. Okay, pwede na tong document processor as compared to Word or PowerPoint, no? Pag Word kasi, maganda din naman si Word. Kaso, kung meron kang computation, for example, kung meron kang code, eh, kukunin mo pa yun from another software. Ito, okay, kunyari ito, di ba nag-plot na siya? Ito, diretso na no? Diretso na sa document na to. Pwede, ito, kakopyahin mo sa Word. Okay, ipa-plot mo kunyari sa Excel, copy-paste mo sa Word. So, mag-ano ka pa, lilipat-lipat ka pa. Ito hindi na, class. Ito na mismo yung document. Okay? So, ito, our setup, tas here you have include is equal to false. It means, class, na ito, dapat hindi papakita dun sa printed output. Okay? Kasi hindi naman siya kailangan makita. So, take note, class, sa mga outputs nyo, sa mga, kasi some of our requirements are cases and group case siya. So, pag imagine nyo, magre-report kayo, no? Gagawa kayo ng final output. May yung mga ibang codes dapat, hindi na dapat nakalagay sa final output. It can be placed in the let's say appendix, no? Okay, etc. And you can only do that if you put either echo is equal to false, di ba? Okay, then which we're going to show in a while. All right, so when you're done, okay, okay, mag-include pa kaya tayo siguro dito na ito summary, hindi pa natin na run, no? So itong code chunk na to, there's a function called summary. Ang gagawin niya, i-generate niya yung first quartile, minimum, yung median, mean, third quartile, maximum, etc. If I run this, okay, so cars is also a data set, preloaded the data set yan. So ang variables niya, speed at saka distance. So ang ginawa dito ng summary, kinompute yung minimum value ng speed at saka ng distance, first quartile nila, second quartile, which is the median, the mean, okay, the third quartile, and the maximum value. Okay, so yan. Okay, so suppose, and by the way class, itong year na to dito, di ba? Makikita natin yung pinaka-outline natin. Okay, so if I want to go here, pupunta siya dito sa including plots. So, ano siya, parang navigator, no? And very, very convenient. Of course, if you don't want to see this, i-click muna to para i-hide na muna niya. Pero andyan dyan yan, no? Outline, click, babalik, outline, click, it will be hidden. Okay, so let's say you're done with the document, no? And you'd like now to print this, okay? You can do this neat, ito. So if you click this neat, okay, tatanungin kayo, ano, need to HTML ba? Need to PDF? Need to Word? So let's do first need to HTML. This one. And sasabihin sa inyo, saan mo isi-save? Take note, doon talaga siya pupunta sa our project, no? Diyan isi-save yan. Hindi mo na kailangan sabihin na i-save mo siya doon. Lahat na ginawa natin, everything that we did for that in that R document will automatically be saved in that R project. Okay? So let me just call it print1. Okay? Just inventing titles here. And then isa-save ko siya. And notice ano mangyayari. Yan, magpo-process dito yan. Notice nag-render siya, tingnan nyo. Rendering means converting it into an HTML or yan, or whatever, PDF. Yan na class, ito na. Ito na sa viewer dito, ito na yung lumabas na knitted file or rendered file. Yan. Okay? Alright, so let me just go back here sa files. And notice ano nangyari. Meron tayong, it generated this object called print1, no? Na HTML. Tapos, meron ding print1 na RMD. Ito yon. No? Notice, magkaiba si RMD at saka si R. Si R, script lang yan. No? Si RMD, it's an R Markdown document. So, both of them are saved in the R project. So, it's very convenient. So, everything about the intro to R, intro to financial analytics, andi dito sa file natin dito. If I Look for that. Dito yan, di ba? Sa trial ko yan, no? So, naka-save dyan. Okay? And also, you know, sometimes, di ba, pag power outages, no? Pag power outages, ginagawa mo to. The advantage here is that if you're working in a project, nag-automatic save yan. Okay? So that, for example, kanina, nagka-power outage, nawala. Okay? I experienced before, hindi ko linalagay sa project. Naku, nung something happens, bigla nawawala yung document. So down the drain na yung hundreds and hundreds of codes na ginawa ko. Nakakaiyak kasi ginagawa ko tapos biglang nawala. So I've learned to operate with R and RStudio better by creating projects. Ayan. Okay? So, andito yung document natin, andito if I click this, okay? Pwedeng open in editor, o kaya punta ako dito. Okay, punta ako dito sa trial ko. Tapos if I click this, bubukas sa internet yan. Bubukas sa, okay, dito sa, okay, yan, yun na yan. Nagbukas na siya. Diba? HTML file yan eh. Diba? That's the output. Okay, take note, no? Asa na dito yung include is equal to false? Wala. Diba? That code is important, no? For managing yung output natin. Pero hindi siya pinakita dito. Let me go back there. Di ba? Meron tayong una dito, di ba? Yung include is equal to false. Nag-run ba to? Yes, nag-run to. Pero hindi niya sinama dun sa output. Kasi sabi dito, include is equal to false. Ito naman, okay, nag-run to, tapos walang generate na output, ha? Walang pinakitang output dito. Ito naman, okay, nag-run siya, yes. May output na ipapakita, yes. Pero, echo is equal to false. Notice, hindi mo makikita yung code na to. So, if I go back to dito sa natin, asan yung echo? Asan yung plot pressure? Diba? Andito, plot pressure, echo is equal to false. Wala yung code chunk na yun. Okay? So, dapat, sa output ng class, isipin nyo, kailangan ba ilagay yung code na yan? Or hindi? Okay? All right. So, any questions so far? Clear ba? Then, appreciate your feedback, class, kung clear. Okay, good. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay. May question dito, no? May question si Kael, no? Sabi niya, anong meaning kapag execution halted? Sa rendering to, no, Kael? Okay, sige, let me stop share. Okay, Kael, can you kindly share your screen?
Sige, sir, ito po.
Okay. So, okay. Down nga, please. Down. Yung sa script, Kael, down. Tingnan natin, ha? Sa script window, sa upper left. Yung scroll bar dyan. Sige, down nga. Baba mo. Tingnan natin. Down, down, down. Okay naman so far. All right. So, dito sabi niya, up nga, up. Tingnan natin yung YAML mo. Trial. Okay, HTML document. Tama naman. Lagyan mo nga ng space. Sometimes, sensitive tong si ano eh. Yung after that 3 dash lines, dun sa YAML, yung word na YAML, ibaba mo nga siya. Enter mo lang. Ano ba yan? Hashtag ba yung una dyan?
Opo, sir, hashtag.
Baba mo rin si hashtag. Kasi minsan, I experience na kapag nakadikit siya dun sa YAML, minsan nagkakaano eh. Pero let's see So, ang gawin mo ngayon, init mo siya, Yan. Wait. Click mo yung knit. Wag yan. Yung pili tayo, pili tayo. Tingnan natin. Knit to HTML nga, tingnan natin. Error siya, no? Error in YAML. Okay, duplicate map key output. So may mali sa ano. Medyo mahirap ano to, no? Minsan sa YAML, hindi natin maano eh. Title, wait, tingnan ko lang sabi dito, error in YAML load, duplicate map key output. Parse, execution halted. Okay, so it has something to do with the YAML, no? All right, so hindi kagad, we might not be able to decipher that now. Ang gawin mo, pag ganyan, class, pwede yung i-copy yung code na yan, no? Tapos i-google nyo. Because many others have already experienced, most probably experienced the same, no? Tapos, tingnan nyo kung ano yung mga comments nila. I'm sorry, sino nag-question? Si ano? Sorry.
Ako po, sir. Kyle po.
Sorry. Yeah.
Opo, no problem, sir.
Yeah, sige, ano natin kasi baka humaba yung ano natin, yung pag-decipher natin yan. But i-share mo rin i-share mo yung ano, yung i-chat mo yung error, tapos titingnan natin kung ano yung error na yan, no? Kael, paki-share sa chat box yung error para may record ako, para makita ko rin kung ano. Pero madali lang actually mahanap natin yan. Okay? Sige, thank you Kael. In the meantime, kahit hindi mo muna can you try, sorry, one last time. Kael, paki-share ulit. Let's try rendering it to Word. Let's see kung ano mangyayari, kung baka sa HTML lang yung problema eh. Knit mo nga ulit yung drop down button, i-click mo. Then piliin natin yung Word. Sige, tingnan natin. Okay, so dun sa sa YAML na talaga to. Kasi kahit na Word or ano, nag-error siya eh. Okay, so i-research lang natin kung ano yung ibig sabihin nitong ano. Ang minsan si R, medyo cryptic pa yung ano niya, yung comment siya, hindi siya yung straightforward na ganito dapat yung ano. Hindi niya ginaganon, so very generic. So hahanapin pa natin, no, kung ano yung error na to, no? All right? So sige, let me continue sharing now. Okay, one other thing by the way. Okay. So sige, I'll leave this for a while, class, and then I'll now go to a folder that I created. Okay. I created another folder dito sa desktop ko. Ito na yung totoong create ko for our subject. Yung zero siya. Saan yan? Ito. Yan na. So, Finlich Master. So, same thing, kung ano ginawa natin kanina, ginawa ko dito. Alright, so there is this, I created this project, Intro to Financial Analytics. And I'm going to show you something. So, inside this one, okay, meron ditong, ito yung R project ito, yung 1 kilobyte na yan. Makikita nyo yung parang cube na R. Yan yung project, no? Okay, and then kita nyo yung R project. All right, then I have here an RMD file and also, teka muna, may QMD file dito. Okay, ano yung QMD file? Okay, so let me open this. Naka-open na ba yun there? Let me open this. Okay, or pwede kong buksan to, no? If I open this, itong R project na to, tingnan nyo magkakaroon ng panibagong R. Kasi dito may R na ako no? Ito na pala, nabuksan ko na siya kanina, no? Ito yon, no? So if I open that, ito yon. There. Okay? So if you take a look at this, ito yung mga yung mga nasa folder kanina, yung mga pinakita ko sa inyo. Diba? Ito yon. Okay? So also, this is a QMD file. Ano yung kaiba ng QMD file? So QMD file is a Quarto document. How do you open a Quarto document? Dito, and then here, Quarto document or Quarto presentation. Okay, so this is an improvement of the R Markdown or R notebook files. Mas ano na to, mas flexible na to. Kasi sa R Markdown, medyo mahirap tayong gumawa ng ng let's say pictures. May i-code mo pa yun eh, mag-i-insert ka ng picture sa R Markdown. Ito, tingnan nyo ah. Okay. Notice my QMD file. Meron na akong mga pictures dito, no? And it can now be used as a presentation. So yung R file natin, itong QMD file na to, I can use this now as a presentation. Okay? So sige, in the interest of time, i-discuss ko muna quickly to about our subject, no? So, Introduction to Financial Analytics. Ito naman talaga yung subject natin. So, what's financial analytics? I highlighted here, class. Okay, siguro just to go with me or follow along. Sige, as a practice, mag-open kayo. You can use the R file that you were using a while ago. Tapos mag-open kayo ng kwarto. Yan. Kwarto presentation. And then, yung kwarto presentation, merong source window. Yung source window, parang RMB file lang din siya. Okay, tingnan nyo, may mga ano dito, may mga formatting, no? Okay, and then, pwedeng visual. Yan. Yan, I'm now in the visual window. Yan. Okay. All right, so, i-discuss ko muna to class, no? Okay, tapos as we go along, siguro i-share ko yung mga notes dito. Okay, for you to follow along. Okay, so since our subject is financial analytics, ano nga ba to? So let's have some definition of terms first, no? So financial analytics, what's this? In financial analytics, you use statistical and analytical tools so that we using financial data so that we can use it to forecast future financial performance and of course make informed business decisions. Saan ba ginagamit yung financial analytics? It's used by companies so that yung decision making process nila will be data driven. No? Hindi lang yung gut feel lang ng mga CFO o ng mga ibang executive officers. It has to be data driven. So gagamit tayo ng data and then subject it to some analytical tools and statistical models so that it will be able to generate some outputs, and yung outputs na yun can be used to make decisions for the company. Also forecasting, napabago niya. To forecast future financial performance and make informed business decisions. Okay? So ito, parang combination siya ng financial theory, ito yung concept ng finance, ito yung statistical tools, analytical tools, combined siya. So we use data and churn it, analyze it in order to generate inferences, outputs, so that the company can have solid decision-making, data-driven decision-making. Okay? And then predict financial outcomes. So actually, financial analytics is a subset of BI, business intelligence. And also, may tinatawag tayong ERP, yung enterprise resource planning or enterprise performance management. So ang financial analytics, very important siya kasi it cuts across all the functions of management. It is crucial in helping companies predict and plan for the future. Okay, so massive amounts of data to, no? Okay, big data na kasi tayo, no? To identify patterns and to make predictions. So it always goes back to forecasting, making predictions. For example, ano ba yung mga forecast? Given your customer attributes, no? Gender nila, maybe some information about them. Let's say we're mining information from customers, then we can make use of that information in order to predict what a customer might buy. That's used in recommender systems sa Netflix, no? O sa Google Analytics, o sa Amazon. Diba, pag bumili ka ng isang book, you'll notice that next time, magkakaroon ng recommendations for you to try these other books. Kasi binili mo yung book na yan eh. Let's say you're interested in languages or in cooking. Naghanap ka ng book in cooking. culinary arts. Tapos next time, makakita ka ng mga recommended sila na other books. Lalagay, people who bought this also bought this. No? So, ano yun? Ano yun? Paano nangyari yun? Well, Google mines the data, Amazon mines the data. And then gagamit siya ng financial analytics para ma-predict kung ano yung possible na bibili ng isang tao. Okay? So, there's the preponderance of relevant data. Itong relevant data na to, pinagsasama-sama to so that finance can make use of that in order to come up with insights for decision making. Okay? Corporate financial teams are increasingly using this data to help company leaders make informed decisions with the end goal of increasing the company's shareholder value, stakeholder value, whatever the case may be. Okay, let me pause for a while. Is that clear, class? Making use of statistical models. Okay? Technical tools. Yeah. Analytical tools. With what goal in mind? Gamitin yung data to provide insights to management so that they can be used for data-driven decision making and forecasting. Okay, so this is part of business intelligence. Okay, saan ginagamit yung financial analytics? Ako, if I'm going to itemize them, all of them, mauubusan tayo ng oras. But for us, sa finance field natin, importante yung financial analytics sa risk management. Companies make use of financial analytics to generate risk profiles, to identify potential risk bago siya maging parang sasabihin na. Example, may si bank, no, may potential na borrower. So making use of some financial analytical tools, it can come up with a model to predict whether the bank should lend this firm or not. So mga different financial analytical tools ang pwedeng gamitin doon, no? I'm just giving an example. And the risk that might be faced by the company if they give that loan to that firm. Financial analytics is also used for decision making. Okay, as far as investments is concerned. Yung timing ng investments, meron tayong tinatawag na algorithmic trading or algo trading. Okay, and also to determine yung performance ng company. Okay? Valuation, customer analytics, compliance with the regulations, etc. So maraming uses ng financial analytics. And actual example siya, I mentioned a while ago, yung credit scoring. No? Credit scoring. Okay, and take note dito, di ba? I can put here I can put here yung images, no? And that's easy. For example, let's go here just to illustrate that. Kasi dito may insert na eh. Insert. And then pwedeng figures, no? You can insert figures and then you can get the link sa internet. Okay? And paste nyo lang dito tapos ilagay yung caption dito. Or you can browse through it sa kung nasa ano mo siya, kung nasa computer, pwede mo rin gawin yun. Ito I got it from the internet directly. Itong image na to about credit scoring. Okay? So itong QMD file na to, notice ito wala dun saan? Wala dun sa RMD file. So this is a much better improvement. So it's possible, and yung caption ng credit scoring. It's possible that in your case, you will be required to to record presentation of your paper. Kasi hindi nyo naman siya mape-present sa class kasi for lack of time na tayo. So you can use your R Markdown to put your code here. And then meron ka ng visual, pwede na to eh, no? Okay? Kasi pwede rin of course maglagay ng codes dito. Okay? Alright, so here are just some examples. Let me just finish this. So ginagamit ang financial analytics sa risk management. These are just examples in portfolio management, investment decisions, performance analytics evaluation. May mga tools on financial analytics to determine the value of an asset. Kanina, customer analytics, sinabi ko sa inyo kung should the company lend out to this company, okay, etc. So we have some examples, practical examples, credit scoring, fraud detection, okay? Ako, biktima ako nito na-fraud ako ng credit card. Ikukwento ko na lang next time, no? Kasi in the interest of time. Then also for portfolio management. Ito, importante ito. Kasi dito, sa performance analytics, okay, it helps the company. Ano ba yung objectives ng portfolio management? Okay, here are some objectives. Kunyari, portfolios help the company optimize risk. Okay? And create optimal fund allocation. Kunyari, meron silang budget na 10 billion. Saan natin i-allocate yung 10 billion na yan? How much should be allocated to this asset? How much to this asset, etc. So the objective is to improve overall efficiency ng portfolio so that the company is able to have their assets, investments appreciate through returns maximization. And also minimize risk, minimize the company from excessive exposure or risk. Okay, another use yan ng financial analytics. Algorithmic trading. Ano ba yung algorithmic trading? If you haven't heard algorithmic trading, another name for that is automated trading, black box trading, or algo trading. Ito yung gumagamit ng computer program, analytics to, para sundin yung specific set of instructions, okay, para mag-trade. So, wala na kailangan ng human intervention kasi dinefine mo na sa computer na ganto magbabuy, ganto magsisell. Okay? Kasi it can generate profits at a speed and frequency that is impossible for a human trader. Hindi kakayanin ng human trader. Algorithm is code sa computer, no? Okay? Kung millisecond yung speed niyan, paano mahahabol ng isang human trader? Okay, I think I gave you an example. Kunyari, ito, example, we buy 50 shares of stock when its 50-day moving average goes above the 200-day moving average. We'll discuss in the future ano to mga moving average na to. 50-day moving average simply gets the average of the usually it's returns, no? Yung returns the past 50 days. Pag 200 day naman, past 200 days. A moving average is an average of past data points. Okay? Ang nangyayari sa moving average kasi, ini-smooth out niya yung mga noises. Okay? Kaya medyo mas flat siya. Ganun ang moving average. Okay? We'll have examples of this in the future. Okay, I have mga 5 minutes na lang. Okay? So ito, simple instructions lang to, no? When to buy, when to sell. Sell when the 50-day moving average goes below the 200-day. So may computation ka ng 50 days, may computation ka ng 200 days. Ang sabi dito, ang rule dito, if the 50-day average goes above the 200-day average, then buy. Bili ng 50 shares. On the other hand, pag bumaba siya, then sell. So very simple instructions, no? Which easily the computer can follow. Okay, so ano yung tools? Well, software like R, Python, SAS, these are very powerful softwares. So sa atin, R ang gagamitin natin. Data visualization, kailangan din natin yan, R pa rin yan. Sa dulo, magkakreate tayo ng dashboard, no? And then, of course, spreadsheet and databases. Of course, I think you're knowledgeable about Excel. And then, sa big data technologies, Hadoop, Spark. And then, meron din mga financial modeling software, Bloomberg, FactSet, etc. Okay, so how does one become a professional in financial analytics? Siyempre, importante yung educational background, and you have a good educational background kasi finance kayo eh. Okay? Of course, quantitative skills. So dapat ito yung i-enhance natin. Quantitative skills. Technical proficiency. Yan, sa R, sa Python, analytical skills, and industry knowledge. Okay? So financial analytics is a very dynamic field to. Combination ng financial theory and analytical prowess. Okay. Habang lumalaki yung data, mas nagiging complicated, sophisticated yung mga tools. Okay, so it's an exciting field kasi hindi siya nagsa-stale, no? It keeps on moving. Okay, so let me just quickly discuss. I'm going to post this course outline. I-transfer ko lang siya sa isang required format. Okay, but this will be our lessons for this term. No? Number one, we're doing that now. Introduction, we discuss introduction to financial analytics. Yung R, nagsimula na tayo. And next meeting, we're going to start with this quant mode, technical trading rules, and tidy quant. And nawala siya dito. Performance analytics. No? These are packages that we're going to look into, and also portfolio analytics. So, okay, we're going to learn this as we progress in R. Then, lesson 2 natin, module 2 natin will be data management and manipulation. Okay, so kailangan marunong tayong mag-import ng CSV, Excel, kailangan marunong tayong mag-clean ng data. Okay? Then we have advanced data manipulation. Part of SQL din yan, structured query language. Then we'll have time series analysis. Okay, basics, tapos time series analysis using univariate at saka multivariate. Okay, and then we look at volatility and risk analysis, which is related to GARCH. Then module 4 will be quantitative financial analysis. So we will review yung performance measurement. I'm sure you discuss this in your other subjects, si Sharpe, si Traynor, si Sortino ratio, and how do we measure risk and return. And then related to quantitative financial analysis is portfolio optimization. One of the most, sabihin natin, challenging part of this lesson, of this course. And algo trading strategies, example lang, we will not really deal into this kasi may mga requirements dito na might not be available to us. Okay, module 5 is financial modeling and simulation. We're going to learn Monte Carlo simulation. Okay, first take a look at a bit of regression, review lang yan, using LM and GLM. And then, I'm not sure if you have discussed real options in your other subjects, but gagamitin natin yan. And lastly, ito na, isa sa pinaka-interesting topics natin, will be machine learning. Gagamit tayo ng tools like decision trees, random forest, support vector machines, okay? Artificial neural networks. Those things are what we're going to learn in this chapter 6, which is module 6, which is the last. No? And last din natin yung reporting and dashboards. We're going to learn how to create dynamic dashboards with Shiny and R Markdown. Okay? So this course, in a nutshell, should give you a thorough grounding in financial analytics using R. So that you'll be equipped with skills to apply this in the real world in the future pag ando doon na kayo. Okay? So let me first stop recording.